Right. So, first speaker up, we have the beautiful Angela Lynch. She is the owner of A Lynch Closings. She is also a title rep at Kelly Title, so an in-house closer. Angela, I like to call her La Reina, the queen, because she's actually been in the title game, loan closing, loan signing agent industry for a very long time. Not to date you or anything, but she's
That's okay.
definitely seen it all. She's had a lot of experience, really good person to reach out to if you have any questions. So, Angela, I will give you the floor.
Okay, well, thank you so much and welcome, ladies. If you could do us a favor and just make sure that you are muted, though, just to eliminate some of the feedback that might be created. But I wanted to thank you all for coming and hope that you are all enjoying this very balmy weather that we're having. The rain was not so fun to drive in today, but it got warmer and nicer and sunny out today. So a little bit about myself. I'm not going to, I'll date myself. I'm 48 years old. We'll be 48 years old. And I have been in the real estate industry since I got out of college with a 6-month detour as a coffee barista for until I was able to find a job at a law firm. So I started at a law firm in New York in 2000 and quickly realized that they needed to give me more stuff to do or I was going to be bored out of my mind. And the attorneys then mentored me, taught me how to prepare deeds and HUDs back when we were doing them still, and not the title companies. And flash forward to 2012, and I then relocated to New Jersey, worked at another law firm doing commercial and residential real estate, land use, zoning, tax appeals, you name it, I've done it in real estate. And all the while having to read title reports, review them for the attorneys, and let them know what needed to be done in order to get us to the closing table. At the same time as well, I also worked for attorneys in New York who were bank attorneys for banks such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all before they had funding requirements. So you didn't have to send anything from the closing table. You just kind of did the signing and then sent it back, and that was the end of it. Now, as signing agents, we have to send documents oftentimes to the lender for them to look at to let us know that we all graduated 2nd grade and know how to sign our names and put a date on a piece of paper. So I then, in 2016, decided I no longer wanted to work for attorneys, decided to go out on my own, took a huge risk, and left my 5-figure job for a very low 5-figure job the first, I want to say, probably a year. Because even though I had a lot of contacts in the business, it was not the best time to go out on my own because they were just transitioning into title companies really kind of taking over and doing the settlements, whereas in prior to that, the attorney's offices did them. So it was not uncommon for the paralegals to be doing the closings. There was not really a lot of independent closers, if you will, prior to 2015 in New Jersey. So in 2016, I opened up A Lynch Closings and reached out to my contacts who I had used for title, and they all hired me, thankfully. And I'm now 7 years in, decided to get my title license in order to be a better asset to the title companies, the attorneys, and everyone that I worked for, because you cannot technically close a true commercial. And when I say true commercial, I mean $100 million property where there's multiple properties, sometimes multiple banks, multiple title companies, unless you're a licensed loan officer. Bank attorneys don't want you even stepping foot into their office unless you are licensed. So I got my license for that purpose because I had spent so many years doing commercial real estate as a legal assistant. I wanted to be able to help my clients in that way. Many of you may have actually dealt with commercial on a lower, not to degrade it, but on a lower scale where a loan signing agent is totally fine. You don't need a title license in order to do that. Then when the market shifted after the pandemic and interest rates started to rise, I knew I needed to diversify. And I then became a I like to say I'm a part-time title person and a part-time loan signing agent because I do both of them equally throughout the week. But I am a contract title title closer with Kelly Title Group. So what does that mean? I was offered a contract by the owner of Kelly Title to be exclusive to their company to do all of their, well, as many as I possibly can, closings for the company, for their sales team. So they gave me a guaranteed number every month, and I then make a certain amount for those closings. I have made anywhere from $200 to $300 a closing, sometimes more if it's a long or a very involved commercial deal. But that's usually because of the license. So I'm going to shift. So that's a little bit about me and my journey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, from the title perspective, what we look for in loan signing agents. I do not like it when you go into a closing and they're like, oh, you're the notary. Well, all loan signing agents are notaries, but not all notaries are loan signing agents. And I think that everyone should really be trained. If you're going to sit a closing, you need to know the documents. So that's the first thing that we look for as a title company. We want to make sure that you know what the documents are. That is high priority, because you need to then not only know the documents, but by knowing them, you also know what you are allowed to say and what you are not allowed to say. You cannot give financial advice, you cannot give legal advice, and you cannot give title advice if you are not a licensed title officer. Just because you hear it at a closing does not mean that you are authorized to say such things at a closing. So if you hear an attorney say something, doesn't necessarily mean that you can repeat that if you are not an attorney. So we look for individuals who know the documents. So take trainings. I did not do LSS because the loan signing system, which Barbara is going to talk about in a little bit. But with my background, I didn't really need to. I already knew a lot of what the LSS system was going to talk about. So, but get trained, seek out a mentor, collaborate with other notaries, to loan signing agents, to learn the documents. The other thing is, we talk a lot in title to each other. Just because we are separate title agencies does not mean that we do not talk to each other. So we ask for recommendations for loan signing agents. We ask what their reputation is. We also keep track of, mistakes. It sounds silly, but just like a signing service, if anyone's done signing service work, we make sure that you've filled out the acknowledgements completely. You didn't leave anything blank. I actually was going to post in, I don't know how many of you may or may not be part of some of the notary groups on Facebook, but I was going to post something because I was having a moment. Somebody went to a closing and I got a scanned copy of it, but it was not for me, it was for my husband, but a scanned copy of the acknowledgement that was not completed. And it was for a client of his, but the acknowledgement was not completed. The stamp was crooked, and it sounds silly, but it really does matter. Those things matter, and we look for those things. We want things to be, as a title company, we want them to come back neat and complete.
I like that.
And we also want it to come back in the same order that you got it in. Not necessarily, and when I say same order, it's not like if your note, your mortgage, your first payment letter, like it's not necessarily that order. We don't want page 6 of the mortgage with page 2 of the affidavit of occupancy. So you got to keep all your documents together. So neat and complete. So know your documents, make sure that you're completing them, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Yes, we are, as title people, we're busy, but one thing that we do not like is when loan signing agents or notaries do not ask questions that could have easily have been answered, and then we have post-closing issues that we have to clean up. It is better to ask than to not get called again. So it's very important that if you are going to go direct, which anyone can do, you just have to build relationships, is to make sure that you are asking questions if you don't know the answer. And if you, even if you know the answer and someone asks you to call the title company anyway, call the title company. Even if you know the answer, you don't need to be a big shot. Just call the title. They just want to hear that you've talked to someone else who has what they presume to be more authority than you do. And I think that's all I got for you. And we want you to be professional. So don't come in shorts, ripped jeans, open-toed shoes are not awful, but please don't come in flip-flops. And if you're going to be late because you're running late from another closing, actually, let me back up a little bit before I turn it back over to you, Martine. If you are doing this and you are direct, please make sure that you are scheduling yourself appropriately. I was listening to, actually this week, 2 of the processors in our office who was complaining about a notary. I don't know if the person's like certified loan signing agent, but a notary, none of whom are on this call, by the way, just to clarify, who had taken a closing, like didn't schedule themselves properly and ended up running late, and then was 2 hours late to our closing and then did not call. So that person, one, is not getting called again, but you have to make sure that you, even if you have to pause before you respond, yes, and map it out to make sure that you can get from one place to the other. It's okay. We're not going to penalize you for saying no. Just say, no, I'm sorry, I have another appointment. I don't think that I can get there. Service is more important than saying no. We want to make sure that you're putting on the best face for our company, because you're probably the only person that they're going to see from our company. So we want to make sure that you're putting the best face out there for us. Now I'm done. I think.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. And honestly, there's so many takeaway gems on that. Neat and complete. Absolutely, a lot of mistakes that we are seeing with notaries. Everyone wants to book and get as many appointments as they can, but it's definitely important to remember that you're a representation of the title company or the signing service. So neat and complete, showing up on time, being in communication. I think a lot of great gems were dropped here by Angela. So thank you. Yeah, was there anything else? I don't know if I interrupted you. You're good.
I don't think so. I might raise my hand to add on maybe a little bit as Pat and Barbara, or when they finish. But this is strictly from a title person's perspective of what we look for as a title company. I've been doing closings since 2001. I would do a lot of them in our office with the attorneys. And now, you know, I don't even know how many I have done. It's been so long, but I don't claim to know everything, because I don't. I learn things every day. And it's, you can make a very good living doing this. This is actually my second loan signing contract that my company has had. We were formerly with All Ahead Title for 2.5 years. And then I moved on. I was going to go back to being independent because I wanted control over my schedule again. And then I realized I didn't really want that much control.
Got it. Yep. I get it. Totally get it. Well, thank you, Angela. Thank you for dropping those gems. And it's just great because she's a notary, loan signing agent, but also getting the perspective from a title rep. I think it's really important to see what they look for, what they don't want. So definitely take notes. Next up, we have Pat Gonzalez. All right, Pat is the owner of PG Mobile Notary. Not only is she a loan signing agent, but she is an apostille agent. So she's going to give us some perspective a little bit on a different avenue of what a notary can do. Pat, I'll hand the floor to you.
Right, where do I begin? Well, everyone, I'm Pat. For those that don't know me, I've been a loan signing agent for a little bit over 4 years now. Um, I was able to transition during the pandemic. It kind of fell on my lap, and I ran with it, worked my business really hard, and was able to leave my day job within a 5-month time period after I became a loan signing agent. Um, Even though I was able to do that, it was not easy because it was a lot of learning, a lot of training. But the way I say it, if you want this to be the way that you vision it, we all operate our businesses differently, even though we all do the same thing. Whatever vision you have in your mind, that's what you have to kind of work towards. Um, so yeah, so I do loan signings for various title companies in New Jersey as well as New York. Um, I'm like their exclusive title closer in New Jersey, which is nice. That comes from a lot of networking. I know for some people, they struggle with networking. I struggle with it in the beginning, but it's just really crucial to get out there and meet people because people usually won't refer you or send you business if they know you through social media platforms. They like to put a name to the face, know who you are, and know the value that you bring to them at the closing table because you are a representation of the company or the party that's hired you. Like Angela mentioned before, you may be the only person on behalf of title that those people are going to see. And usually when you go to a closing, most of the time they're nervous because they don't know what to expect. And yeah, so you're the face of that title company that you are representing. Aside from doing loan signings, I also do apostilles, and that kind of fell on my lap. Someone, for some reason, felt that I was already an apostille person and sent me a referral. And I pretended to be an apostille person and I ran with it. So I made a bazillion calls to the Department of the Treasury down in Trenton to get information. I took some webinars through the loan signing system, and just really kind of just ran with it, did all the homework, and I physically went to Trenton to figure out how the process works. Also doing apostilles is profitable. I always tell people like really just do a lot of research on pricing so you price fairly, you don't price gouge because when you mostly give people the number, it is a little high, but a lot of people pay for the convenience and the speed and necessity of needing their documents apostille. Now, before you jump into any other things, because we see all the social media platforms out there, people want to do RON, people want to do fingerprinting, they want to do apostilles. You have to master one thing first. You have to become a master of one thing. If you can't master a loan signing, I would not recommend that you jump into other things because it gets messy and it gets complicated and it confuses your audience. People want to know, what are you really good at? And it's okay if you start building onto your business as time goes by. I absolutely feel that you should be able to pivot. For some of us that have been doing this actively, we feel the impact of the real estate market. When real estate is quiet, we're quiet too. Maybe not as quiet as maybe people starting because we have built our business over years. So our phone still rings, just doesn't ring, all the time. So you do have to have something in your back pocket. But I would always, like I said, I recommend be really good at one thing before you start pivoting and jumping into other things. As a notary, you can make money so many ways using your stamp. But like Angela mentioned, and Barbara's going to touch on that, you really should get trained. I've done loan signing system. I did complete it, but I just didn't do the test to get my certificate. But I went through all the modules. I pay for the monthly membership because it gives me access to information and I keep everything fresh. Like you have to be like a lifelong learner if you want to run a business. And laws can change, like maybe 2 years ago, we weren't required to use notary journals. The law in New Jersey changed. We're required to use notary journals. Things need to be ink stamped. I actually came across at a closing, someone was signing with a power of attorney. And when I looked at the power of attorney, I knew right away something was wrong with it. The notary put the embosser on all the pages and there was no ink stamp. So I was like, yeah, this is a problem because It's supposed to have an ink stamp. That is what New Jersey requires. The embosser just makes it look pretty. That is not your notary stamp. That's really what it boils down to. So, but then again, goes back to being trained and knowing what you're doing. If you want to just do general notary work, that's great. Get yourself the New Jersey Notary Primer, and that tells you what legally you can and cannot do. That will serve as a guide. You can't be profitable just doing general notary work, but then again, it goes back to building your business, meeting people, getting out in your community, and letting people know who you are and what you do. So I think that sums up everything. I also have a title license like Angela, but I don't sell title. I actually got licensed because the course itself teaches you a lot about title that I think is really good when you're a loan signing agent. It also allows you to possibly sign certain documents if title okays it because you are licensed, whereas a notary, you cannot sign certain documents in a loan package. So yeah, for anyone that really wants to do this and really wants to take it seriously, you really have to go full throttle. There's really no shortcuts. It's either you do it or you don't do it. I think on one of my posts recently, I said, if you want it to be a business, you have to treat it as a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby and you're not going to make money. That's really what it boils down to. So,
Amen. Pat is preaching today. No, you're absolutely right. What we're hearing consistently is how important the training is. Definitely get training, treating it as a business. I really do appreciate you, Pat. Was somebody trying to say something? I wasn't sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to add on because Pat mentioned that she also has her license, that she's allowed to sign certain documents if that's the key word there, if title allows it. So I just want to clarify that even with a license, the title company may not allow you to sign on their behalf where it says licensed or escrow officer or settlement officer. You shouldn't be signing those lines as a notary if you are not licensed, no matter what anyone from any title company tells you. Because once you affix your name to those lines, you're representing to the lender that you are a licensed title officer within the state of New Jersey. So despite what any title person might tell you, ask to speak to their supervisor because you're not supposed to sign either of those lines.
you know what, just to piggyback on what Angela said, what's a good practice for notaries? When you pick up documents, for example, for direct, before you leave the office, look at the pages, the settlement agent is supposed to sign, and just ask them, hey, can you just sign these pages before I leave? Because you may have funding at the table and those pages need to be signed or the package is going to get rejected. Sorry, Angela. I didn't want to forget. It's my senior.
No, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I know with certain clients, even the Alta, sometimes they want that signed. A lot of agents won't accept an Alta without the settlement agent's signature on it. So definitely great practice to have really great idea, Pat, to have and sign that prior to leaving with that package. Thank you. Also, so last but definitely not least, we have Barbara H. Hill. So Barbara, she is also a loan signing agent. She was the New Jersey ambassador. Barbara is also, she does RON, which is remote online notarization, another avenue of the loan signing industry. And I'm going to have you take it away, Barbara.
Thank you. So just to get a little more specific, I am an independent loan signing agent and I'm a RON specialist for real estate transactions. There are a lot of people who are doing real estate transactions, but the ladies who spoke before me said some great things and I'll be referring to them. The one thing Pat said was master one thing first. And those of us who took the loan signing system, and certainly Angela, who has a bajillion years of experience, so Martine, Pat, our friend Kathy, we all learned how to be loan signing agents first, and everything else became extra money. All right. So think about that. Master one thing first. Now you're all on this because you want to become loan signing agents. And I just want to see some of you who don't have your camera on. It'd be great if you turned it on and just if you raise your hand. Is it everyone on this call a notary? Raise your hand if you're a notary. I know Cynthia, you are. And wait. Who else? Is there anybody? Okay, who's not a notary? What is there one not notary? Okay, good. That's fine. That's fine. And who wants to be a loan signing agent? Raise your hand. I just want to get an idea. Wants to be. I know some, well, Cynthia, you already are, aren't you? Okay, good. So there's a couple people. So I'm going to break it down now. You've gotten some really great insight about the business, but I'm going to talk to you more about step by step. And in the time that I have, of course, we can't get everything in, but one of the things that I'm going to offer to everybody that's on this call today, when I was the ambassador of the New Jersey group, I did one-on-ones. In fact, I think there's one or two people on this call who did one-on-ones with me. And we spent about an hour on the phone. And here's what we do. We talk about where you are in your career, what you want to do, everything about you. If you're working another job and you want to be a loan signing agent, I want to know everything about you and I want to hear about your goals. And based on all of that, I can break it down for you and help you with a plan to becoming not only a loan signing agent, but a working loan signing agent. All right. So that's one thing. And then everybody's mentioned the loan signing system, but there's a couple of options out there for you. But for those of you who are members of IBH, I don't know if everybody on the call is a member. So I will say, those of you who want to schedule an appointment with me. In fact, Martine, put up my Facebook pages. You can personal friend me or on my business page and DM me if you want to do a one-on-one, but IBH people will get first appointments because I'm just one person. And so I do this mostly in the evening. The other thing is if you do take the loan signing system, if you're IBH, you get a 25% discount from me on the course. So that's something just to think about. So if you miss something in this call, we can do a one-on-one and I'd be happy to do that with you. So let's break it down. So I think there were a few of you who are not notaries, so I should have brought the link, but step one, become a notary. You're going to get commissioned by the state of New Jersey. You're going to go to the Department of Revenue website. And I have to tell you something, just yesterday, was it? No, Tuesday, I met the man behind the notary manual. The man behind the manual. We had a meeting with the treasurer's office and the director of revenue and the guy who actually wrote the manual. And that's something you'd have to learn and then pass a test. And then you can join the notary club. And then now the good stuff, becoming a loan signing agent. So step one is then learning how to do a loan signing, learning what the documents are. Angela said, expressed the importance of that. And she is not kidding. That is so important. And when you achieve that level of comfort where you just know the documents inside and out, you'll be commanding the kind of rates that she spoke about. And actually so while both those ladies did the title course, do not run out now and go get it. Although Angela suggested it to me, and I've been doing this since 2017. So it is really time. I've been talking about it for almost 2 years and a half at least. So I've been meaning to, but the point is, we are, those of us who are experienced in working, we're lifelong learners. So, but learn from people who've done it already. So here we go. So step one is learning the documents. There's a number of ways you can go about learning the documents. And again, in a one-on-one, I'll find out, what your level of experience is. You might have a real estate background or whatever. But there are a couple of ways you can go about in doing it. There are courses, and I am going to talk about 2 of them. You also want to get certified as a loan signing agent. And the truth is, while you see a lot of trainings out there all over Facebook, there are actually only 3 that give a recognized certification as a loan signing agent. And one of them is now a little dated, so I'll talk about the other 2. after that, after you become certified, learn the documents, become certified as a loan signing agent, then I would direct you to the NNA at that point. The mistake that people make a lot of times is if they don't know and haven't had this conversation, is they start with the NNA and they end up paying like $300 for the full-on course. And if they did it reverse way by doing, say, the loan signing system first, then you only really have to take the exam. And then they give you like a discount coupon. And then you also get your background check with it. So the other thing is, so now at some point now you know the documents, so you're going to have to start working. So you need supplies. You're going to need a dual tray laser printer. You're going to need a really great scanner and a couple of other things. And just talking about the loan signing system in that course, I'm just going to tell you, it is like a blueprint for becoming a working loan signing agent. And step by step, like you don't go out and buy anything until they mention it in the course. If if you want to follow that particular blueprint, again, it may or may not be necessary for you. It may not be right for you. That's something, I'll give you information so you can decide. But then after you get your office set up, you have your equipment, and so now you know how to sign documents and you have stuff to print them on. So now what? And so the people who've done the NNA first, that's where they are at this point. They're like, well, now what? And it'll be like, they'll be cherry picking all over the internet and ultimately have to figure out, I have to figure out how to market myself. So I'm going to give you a little heads up about New Jersey, that here's where, when we're beginning, here's where we get business. There's like 3 tiers of business. Angela, of course, is from a title company. That is the brass ring. That's called getting direct work. And I tell you, if you, I'm going to actually refer to my friend Kathy, who many of you know. So we do the same loan signing system. And so I had a lot of things going on. So I got my work not direct from title, because once you start hitting title, you need to be available for them. And I'll talk about the other ways to get work. Kathy did one, through a third party. And she turned and went right to title companies and never looked back. And, and she doesn't have to do at this point general notary work. We know when things got slow or some of the peripheral jobs, some of it's fun to do, some people like doing field inspections, but, like for me, I just always wanted to be a loan signing agent. The first time some woman came to this table right here in my house and did a HELOC with me. So anyway, so that's like the brass ring. But then there are signing services. Perfect example. Martine Paul owns Syngergy Signings. And actually in that loan signing system course, there is a list of like 150 signing services they give you. And they highlight the ones that are loan signing system signing service people, like Martine, because if they've done the loan signing system, they're more inclined to hire the people who are LSS certified. So anyway, so Martine is on that list. So, some people say sign up with, 300 signing services. And I guess, if I were 35, I would probably do that. But I'm going to help you get really focused. So the thing about that is, I'm going to talk about the pay range too. So you know what to expect and see if this is worth it for you. So on average, when you go to a title company, we're not all, Angelo with a gajillion years experience. On average, I'm going to say that you get paid $175. That's a good range, anywhere from 150 to 250, something like that. And the beauty of it is about half of those title companies, you get paid right at the table. You're the one dispersing the check. So that's another little bonus of that. Then the signing services are, let's call it a middleman. So there's the Martines of the world who are out there, and their clients are the title companies. And so you can be signed up with Martine, and then you don't have to go after the work. if she needs you, she'll, contact you. Like, she has a whole system in place, a scheduler and all of that. And that's how they all work pretty much. Now, the point is, so say she's getting that, I don't know, we'll say $175. Well, guess what? You're not going to get it because then she'll get nothing. So let's say the range is somewhere between 75 and 125 you can make from signing services. But look at all the time you saved of running out and hustling and getting work. And also, if you are have a schedule where it's a side hustle, you're only available nights and weekends, or if you're taking care of your parents and you're busy with that, or you're a stay-at-home mom and busy with that, it's a nice way to get work, and especially nights and weekends, because there's a lot of refis and HELOCs and they come through the signing services. A title company is unlikely to call you for after 5 p.m. or on the weekends, just as an FYI. It's mostly the purchase closings that are done during the weekdays, but not exclusively. I'm giving you the broad strokes. And I'm also watching my time. So then the other place, and where I got my first job, is what some people call them signing services, but they're really not. They're online notary databases. Now, there's some like SnapDocs or like Notary Dash, which I know Martine's company, Syngergy Signings, uses that one. And so that's, it's a database where you build your profile, and you have to have certain credentials, which we started to talk about. You're up to this point because you have those credentials. And so then people who have jobs like signing services, like law offices, like title companies, like all kinds of places, whoever has the job, they would find you in that database, and they send out sort of a blast, and they do it in rounds. They have like people with more experience it goes out to first, then the next round, then the next round. But I'm here to tell you, I got my first job on an online notary database, and I had zero experience. So the beauty of that is you're getting paid to practice. And there's a million of those the companies that come to those signing services. So a profile, how you do your profile is important. And no matter what, when you get to that in your career, I'd be happy to look at your bio, because I could look at it in 1 second and tell you if someone's going to pass you right by, or if someone's going to stop at you, even if you have zero under your belt, zero loan signings. So that's kind of the gist. That's an overall, the supplies you need, the training you need, the certifications. A part of that, as I said, you also will get a background check. You also will get errors and omissions insurance. And also I recommend professional liability, because when you're a loan signing agent, there's a lot of things that could happen. So, and the regular errors and omissions insurance covers just the pages you notarize in the transaction. So, then, and I have a whole list. In fact, I put it on one of the Facebook groups. Someone was saying, I don't know what I need to do my profile. I said, here's a present for you. And it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, but when you guys are ready, if you do a one-on-one with me, this is information I'll just give you. It's easy because I'll get to know you. That's why I like the cameras on, because I know there are people on this call that know that I send out work, because I don't want to do it sometimes. I get a lot of general notary work, and I don't really do a lot of general notary work. So I do send it out. Anyway, so I hope to get to know you all. Martine, I don't know if you put up my links. Did you do that?
I did. So I did put
Okay,
up
so friend
the
me on
links to
Facebook.
email and IG.
Okay. Wait, well, okay. Did you do my Facebook pages? The
Yes.
ones I emailed you? Okay, good.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you guys can be friends with me and DM me if you want to schedule a one-on-one. Let me know if you're an IBH member. I'll still schedule you, but I also want to know if you're an IBH member. And so that's the way you'll get in touch with me. I'll kind of let me know, if you're interested in doing it next week, the week after, and I'll throw you out a couple of days and times that I can be available to really help you kick off your career. And, I can honestly tell you the people I've talked to are doing pretty well. And one fellow who some of you know, he sent me a note in April, happy anniversary. It was a year from the time we did our one-on-one. And it's funny because a week later, I sent him his first title company. And I have never given a new notary a title company as a client. And he did a great job, but I can tell who I talked to. I can tell, where you are. It's someone who did LSS. She actually never did a one-on-one with me, but she's witnessed a lot for me. And she did her first signing, a refi, last Friday, and she did such a good job. Of course, the night before I went through all the documents with her, but still, she did a great job. Then I got a call for a refi that night, Friday night, and I said, I can't do it, but I have somebody who can. And I trusted her to go do that. So I gave it to her, and it was short notice. And wouldn't you know, it was worst case scenario. It was an FHA loan. It was 205 pages. So that is, anybody who's done signings, that is the worst case scenario. And for your second signing, so she comes off as like very flipped out and everything. I'm going to throw it back and this and that. It went extremely well. She came to my house Saturday morning with all the documents. I went through every one, nothing missed. It was that great.
Beautiful.
And she's brand new. So,
Beautiful.
Martine, wouldn't you say when I send you people, when people come to you and are brand new, one person who I did a one-on-one with last year, she did it part-time. So she studied the course at night. And in 30 days, she had her first signing from Syngergy Signings. And after it was all over, I called Martine. I said, how'd you do? Blah, blah, blah. She said, oh, great. Yeah. I said, did you know it was her first signing? She said, no idea. So, I mean, yeah. So anyway, that's what I had to say. It's such an exciting business. And everybody who gets started, a lot of them say, I want to get my feet wet with general notary work. Listen, here's what you need to know about general notary work. You need to know how to fill out an acknowledgement. You need to know how to fill out a jurat. You need to know how to fill out an oath. So that's the main thing. I mean, there are other things to general notary work that you need to know, but if you do loan signing work first, learn that, master that, like Pat said, then all the rest will just fall in line. You're scurrying around, put that time into marketing than taking $25, jobs. All right. That's what I have.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much. A lot of great gems dropped. I see Pat and Angela have their hands raised. So Pat, if you want to.
I was going to say one thing, because Barbara touched on money. When you're starting, just a piece of advice, don't chase the money because you're building a business and there's so much learning. It's a journey, right? Like you're developing not just the business, but you're also developing yourself. When I look back now, like the growth just wasn't professional. There was a lot of personal growth because there's a lot of things I learned about myself along the way. The money definitely comes, but it's going to come with the experience. And if you're really nervous about getting started, signing services are amazing to get started. I do some signing service work. I don't do too much. I have my favorites at this point, but it's a great way to get your feet wet because when the package goes back, it goes back to the signing service company who audits the package before it goes to their client. So if there's a mistake that has been made, you have like that second set of eyes that can kind of, look at things and can kind of give you some feedback. And the more you do it, the more you move through it, the better and the more experience that you come. I took everything in the beginning, like every single thing, regardless of what they were paying me. And that's how I learned all the packages from different lenders. So now when I know, oh, it's this lender, I already know what to expect. But, big but, never get cocky because you'll never know if the bank may throw a new form in that package that you were not aware of. It's good to have the confidence, like, yeah, I know there are docs, but it's always good to look at every page just in case there's a little surprise in there that you weren't expecting. And I would recommend doing signing service work before going direct. I'm starting to see a trend like refinances are trickling back in, even with the current interest rates. So jump on those refis because if you can get a good grip on a refi, you'll be able to move on to a purchase closing. and go do it.
And let me just delineate that. So online notary databases, as I think what you might be referring to really, like SnapDocs, Notary Dash, and those kinds of things. Because the way I see it, like a Martine Paul is a direct client to me to a degree, you know. So, you know, it's a little bit different. So I just, you know, I always like to say go to the databases. Because like I said, there's a gajillion of the people out there who are looking for people. And you know what? If you make a mistake, well, you're going to fix it, but it's not the end of the world because there's 999 more out there for you that'll contact you.
That's perfect. Perfect. Angela, go ahead. I saw that you had your hand raised as well.
Yes, a couple of things from what Barbara mentioned and then Pat. So as they've made very clear, I've been in this a gazillion years. But I can tell you when I first started, I was making $50 for every refinance that I did at the attorney's office. So I was not making between $200 and $300 a closing. That came after many years of experience, many closings did I get to that point. I didn't really start making the $250 to $300 until I actually went out on my own and then became sought after, and people couldn't get me. So they were like, we're going to pay you this. Can you do our closing instead? Or we want to reserve you. And I wouldn't allow them to reserve me without paying me what I was worth, because I was going to remove myself then from other direct clients that I had. So yes, don't chase the money, because the money is going to come as you build your toolbox, your training, building the relationships, etc. I want to go back to also, if you want to work direct with a title company, you have to have at least $1 million of E&O insurance, personal liability, because you're signing loans, you're notarizing loans for us that are in excess of sometimes those amounts. I did 3 closings today, and all of the loans were over, by the time all of them were, if you totaled them all up, they were over $2 million. So I have to have, you have to have personal liability and professional liability and E&O that covers in excess almost of the loan that you're doing, the loan that you're signing for. And then with regards to equipment, if your desire is to go direct, go to the title companies to pick up the packages. Don't ask them to print them. They're oftentimes going to want you to come and get checks so that you can disperse at the closing table. But if you're getting stuff from signing services, then yes, you definitely need to have the dual tray printer and everything else. But if your intent is to go direct right out of the gate, which is a little hard to do unless you have clientele already, relationships.
Especially nowadays, it's very hard.
It's very hard to go direct without having that base already. You don't need to go and invest in, thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment. Make your face known. If I'm going to use Martine as an example, but if she were to give you work and you don't live that far away, or even if you do live a little bit farther away, I really encourage you, go in and show face, because a face and seeing the person other than on an email or on a text or a phone call, it can make all the difference in the longevity of your business. So that's all I have. That was it.
Thank you, ladies, for these gems. I wanted to take the remainder of the time to answer any questions. You guys can unmute yourself or raise your hand if you have any specific questions for Angela, Pat, Barbara, anything specific to loan signing. You guys can go ahead, or even place it in the chat if needed. There's a lot of shy people, cameras off. Hey, Ariane, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you, everyone who did your presentations tonight. It was really good. So my question, Angela, since you just finished with you started off doing $50 refis. We're getting a lot of feedback, especially as new loan signing agents or whatever, that everybody's lowballing us. And a lot of flack, I guess, from some of the older notaries that we shouldn't be biting when people are offering $60 for loan signings or $75, and we should be going for this. And so we're hearing a lot of both sides. Like we should be aiming for this amount of money, and others that we should be going for the experience and maybe biting at $45. I don't know. What's your opinion? What should we be doing?
So it really is what makes sense to you. At the end of the day, it's your business and it's what makes sense to you, regardless of what everyone else is going to say. I will say when I was making those $50, I was driving to one office. I would sit there for 8 hours. So anyone that came into the office was who I wasn't traveling. I didn't need to do printing. So I didn't have those added considerations. So I will preface it with that. But it's really what makes sense for you. I would encourage newer notaries, newer loan signing agents to definitely consider taking those jobs because you're getting paid to practice. You're getting paid to learn and to train, and it's real life training. You're not ever going to learn everything that you need to learn by taking a course. As great as loan signing system and NNA is, there is nothing that's going to supplement or take the place of real life experience when you're sitting at a closing table signing documents with clients. I can tell you I've been doing this again for a gazillion years, and there's still things that come up that I've not experienced before, or there's questions that come that I'm like, I've never had that happen before. Let's take a look at that, or things that I have to go back and look at after the fact because I'm wondering, was that really the way to do it? Was that really the best way? And sometimes I don't know what the best way is, despite the fact that I've been doing this for so long. But take what you can when you can, and it has to make sense for you. That's ultimately what it is, what it boils down to. It has to make sense for you and your business.
And I can add some insight into that. So I don't know if you're a member of Deadbeat Signings 2.0 Facebook group, but I highly encourage you to get on there because they are lowballing new people. And I know who the companies you're all talking about that, and I do know all the people voicing, don't take those jobs and all of that. But I wonder how much those people are really working, the ones that say don't take those jobs. I think you need to, take what works for you if you can afford to do it, but also check the company against the list that you can download from the file section of Deadbeat Signings 2.0 Facebook group, and check against if they're on that list. Don't take a job. There's plenty of those low ballers there, and that's where they're coming from. And then you're doing work really for free because you're also not getting paid. There you go.
We
So
have another
just-
question from Cynthia Roman.
Hey ladies. Okay, so my situation, I need a little advice on this because even though I'm mobile right now, my goal with my business, because I do it full time. I take it very serious. That's my thing. I want to be remote. I want to be a Ron notary. That's like my goal with my business. And I want to know, because I want to start marketing. And should I just flat out just go with the Ron since that's where my heart really is set on? Or should I just continue doing mobile until like later on when I have more experience and then go fully remote? I just don't know which way I want to go right now.
Pat, you
The
want to
question
answer
is-
that question?
Did I
You
answer
look
that?
real passionate.
Do you want to go remote for loan signing or general notary?
Loan signing.
Well, this is what I'm going to recommend. I always keep it real. Don't get into anything remote till you've mastered a loan signing in person.
Right.
Because, the really critical part about that, those Ron closings, they are recorded. It's not you're just showing up and jumping on a platform and doing a closing. They can be just as complicated as doing one in person, but I would really focus on really getting those in-person closings under your belt that you feel like a boss, and then transition into Ron, because then you'll be able to overcome any hurdles through Ron because you already have experience at the closing table.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you already know that's what you want to do, I would recommend definitely go that route, but make sure that you try to, even if you get like one or two direct title companies that, you can get some steady work here and there, or even take any signing service work, when you see those refis come through HELOCs, like just dive into it and
Yeah.
get that experience before you can go fully like Ron.
Hey, Cynthia, have you done a real estate, Ron? I know
No,
you do.
I don't get any notifications or anything.
There
from all-
isn't such a, so I'm going to tell you right now, there isn't such a thing. So if
Right.
you put all your energy into real estate, Ron, it's not there yet. We just talked about it with the state yet. It's the lenders who are the ones that really have to get on board with it. And I've even had attorneys call me and then to have something done, Ron, real estate, a seller package, and it's pulled by the title company. Oh no, the county won't take it. So people don't know enough about it. And so don't take it on to yourself to push it through the market. Let the market come and then jump on.
Okay.
That's become a great loan signing agent. And I will say, when you are in a Ron loan signing, those pages are moving so fast and they've pre-signed. You've got to be able to flip that you can't, and work technology that you can't even not know every single page that's on there. That's what I would say. And the last thing is, so when we had our meeting on Ron, our meetup with the group, there were 97 people on. There was only one person doing 10 Rons a month, which is a lot. And there were only 2 other people doing, one was doing 4 a month and one was doing 2 a month out of 97 people. By the way, I was the one that doing the 10, just in case you were wondering.
Got it.
We
I do
have
wanna
one
leave
more
some
que-
time.
we
I
have
won't
one more
steer you
question, but
wrong, I
I'll take,
promise. I haven't so far.
so for the sake of time, we're a little
For
over,
Laura,
right?
yeah.
So I want to make sure we get enough questions in. Cynthia, did that answer your question? I hope so.
Yes, it was
It
good.
did? Awesome,
Yes.
awesome, awesome. So we have
Oh,
time for
Laura.
maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Laura Hankerson, how are you, darling?
Good evening, everybody.
Good
My,
evening.
my question is, I was just concerned about the notary liability. If you could just explain that again. I've been a notary for 20
Who's the
years.
question for?
For one of the presenters. Any of the
I'll
presenters.
take it if you want. I don't
Go ahead,
care.
Barbara.
I'll take it. Sure. So, in order to get work as a loan signing agent, the only thing that you need is the errors and omissions insurance from the NNA. However, that will only cover you on pages that you've notarized. So even though you can still get work with just $100,000 of that insurance, you will not be covered, like Angela said, for $1 million home or whatever it is. Say you do something in the scope of a loan signing, like miss the drop and they lose their rate lock, and something like that happens. So you want to get professional liability insurance as well. And so there's basically 2 companies most people go with. Or are you a loan signing agent yet? Or no, you're still a notary?
No,
Yeah.
I'm just a notary.
Never just. It's an important job. So yeah, so you have errors and omissions insurance right now, right?
No, I don't have any insurance.
Okay, so you haven't started yet then, right? Or
No,
you're-
no, I've been notarized. I got my notary through my job.
Okay,
So I only notarize paperwork that comes through for them.
so you'll want to get errors and omissions insurance when you're out there. But then there's companies that do policies that are errors and omissions and professional liability policies, and they cover
Mhm.
Ron as well. And you can always message me and I can tell you who the companies are. It's Byberg and ER Monroe is basically it, but you can always message me.
Okay, I
And so
will.
Laura, just for the sake of time, because I do want to get to some of the questions in the chat, we have that announcement. So check out the chat. You're going to find all of Barbara's contact information. We have one question from the chat from Fatima. She said, Martine, where can I sign up with you? So Syngergy signing. So as mentioned, Notary Dash is one of the many portals that a lot of signing services use. Title companies even go on there. So I would encourage you just to sign up, make sure your profile is updated with your E&O, commission, all types of information. Also be sure to let us know what counties you cover, because we do like to send notaries closer to home where they live. but any surrounding counties that you'll cover, let us know. If you speak another language, I reached out to Cynthia Roman, and Pat has helped me out with Spanish speaking. Anything like that, be sure to be detailed. So this way, when signing service owners like myself go onto the platform, we can mark you as preferred as well. And then I do want to also hand it over to our founder of IDH, Quinola Gibson, for her special announcement.
So before I go into the announcements, I just want to say thank you all for attending. And for those with their screens on where I can see your beautiful faces, I would love to know where you're located. What is it you do? All right, because every opportunity where you're in a group, like you're among other individuals, it's an opportunity to either refer business or actually, receive opportunities where you can provide services to other individuals, right? Even if you're in the same field. It can be that an individual speaks another language or they're in a different area in the market. So for those with their screens on and I can see your faces, please turn your screen, unmute yourself. Ireland, can you please say who you are, what is it that you do, and how you can be of service to the women in this group?
What are we gonna eat?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ireland Simon. I'm in New Jersey. I am life insurance educator. I call it financial coach. What I do offer to people is that my services are free of charge, and I approach everyone from the standpoint of a nurse, so that they know that it's not a scary talk, it's more of a needed talk.
Love it. Thank you, Ireland. Fatima, who are you? What is it that you do? How could you be of service to the ladies here on this call? Oh, Fatima, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
I'm going to wait for Fatima to get the sound together. Laura, you were just talking. You have to tell us who you are. What is it that you do, where you're located, and how you can be of service to the ladies on this call. We're not going to end this call without networking, okay? This is not what we do here.
Okay, I'm in Union County.
Love it.
I work for a nonprofit organization in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I've been office manager there for almost 28 years.
Wow.
And I've been notarizing for them for probably the last 20 years. Like I said, I just do, notary for them. And it's like a perk for employees because we're a nonprofit. If an employee needs a document notarized, then I notarize that for them.
Okay, thank you. I believe you've been on one of our calls before. The guest story sounds familiar.
No, this is my first time.
This is your first? You may have a twin out here. Someone out here acting like
Yeah.
Laura. Cynthia Roman, please tell us who you are. What is it that you do? How you could be of service to the ladies on this call?
Okay, ladies. So I am located in Newark, so Essex County. And I have two businesses actually. So I am a notary public full-time, and then I have my other side business where I make cute shirts and cups and like those cute things that you always see on like IG people making. I make those things too. So I do that. Oh, hold on.
Martine, please get her information. We need her. We need Cynthia.
Cynthia, can you drop that information in the chat for your shop?
Yes.
Okay, I'll drop it in the chat for you guys. Okay?
I appreciate it. We need you really bad. Tanya, please tell us who you are. What is it that you do? How you can be of service to us? Where are you located, darling?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Ginyard. I am the owner of Your Precise Notary and Specialty Services. However, I was not aware that this is it seems like a New Jersey networking group. I'm actually in South Carolina.
Oh,
but
welcome.
Nevertheless,
welcome.
I can help out if you need any apostasy services or whatever here in South Carolina. And hopefully vice versa if I need someone up there. I'm originally from New York, so I'm familiar with New Jersey as well. But yeah, I just signed up today on Eventbrite. I said it looked interesting, so let me just tune in. And I believe Barbara reached out to me. You reached out to me on LinkedIn. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Great connection. You're out of state. You're always
yes.
Always.
Tanya, can you drop your information in the chat?
Yes,
so sorry, Q. Can you drop your information?
And Tanya, yeah, I work with a couple people in South Carolina, not work like get paid work, but volunteer, if people have questions and stuff.
Awesome. All right, I'll drop it now. Thank you.
Nicole Newsome. I like the knuckle. Is it knuckle? You get a little lazy with it. Knuckle.
I say NACO.
Nicole Newsome. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Good, good. So tell us who you are. What is it that you do? Where are you located? How you can be of service?
So I'm in the Middlesex County area. I work as an accountant for a jewelry company. I'm not really sure the service I could provide. I do have my notary. I actually notarize in the office.
Okay.
I guess I'm on this call just like to get information and see if I want to go into the route of loan signing.
And I hope you've made your decision. I hope this helps.
Yes, it does. It's just I'm wondering, like, with my busy schedule, like I would love to get into it, but I guess I'm gonna contact Barbara to see if my schedule works for it.
Yes, make sure you do. Make sure you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And I do not want to butcher your first name. So Miss Duran, can you please tell me how to pronounce your first name, then tell us who you are, what is it you do, how you can be of service, and where you're located.
I'm located in Union County, Elizabeth, to be specific. I'm an administrator of a school district on 9 to 5. And I also affiliated with a network marketing company, a beauty company, for about 4 years. I'm always looking to do something else. Exploring a little bit with digital marketing as well. Doing some crafting as well. And definitely, due to my job and an opportunity, I just decided to do the Notary Public, become certified. I Pat's friend, and I said, Pat, I don't know what to do with this. I don't even I have it for like 2 years, and I haven't done anything with that. And I'm just here to because this is interesting. I didn't existed. So until I met Pat, and I'm like, what can we do this? So I've been open to more opportunities. I'm not planning on having a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I am a great advocate, like, about build your own thing, make your own money, and definitely have control of your time. Because that life just goes away and we don't really do things that we love to do.
Absolutely.
This is me.
So we have one last person. Diana, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what is it that you do, how you can be of service to us. I already know you, boo, but let everyone else know how beautiful and vibrant you are and what you can offer.
Stop it, queen. Making me blush. Hi, ladies. This was so informative. I love it. But my name is Diana Theodore. I am part of IBH team in the events committee. I am a financial advisor as well as my own travel agent. MoneyJet Travel is my company. And so anything from finances and how to travel more is my cup of tea. I also dabbled in some life coaching. So if you ever want to have a mindfulness conversation, talk to me about Reiki and all that good stuff, spirituality, I'm down for it. And you could reach me, Martine, if you could drop it in the chat. But yeah, so Diana Theodore 14 in Instagram and Facebook. And for my travel, moneyjettravel.com. You can find me there.
And if you need a hype girl. And if you need a hype girl, she's also available.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, ladies, I'm all about networking, and it's important to know who the individuals are that are on a call, because already I feel closer to you all than I did when I first joined. So what I want to say is it's good to hear that many of you are in Union County, Middlesex County, because we're going to host a beautiful event. It's going to be a boat ride for our members only, but in the event that there is room for other individuals, Tanya, if you can catch a flight, girl, we'd love to have you on board with us. This will happen at Belmar Beach. So this event we're hoping to host it in July. We just have to get all the logistics together. We're also doing a cooking class in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now at City Tavern. If anyone's interested, please join. We'll be doing an investment seminar on site with a developer who's going to take us on site to show us some of the projects he's working on from the ground up, just straight dirt and building it up from the ground up. And other things we're doing is like the self-defense class. But Tanya, stick with us, darling, because we'll be doing a lot of online meetups, and we would love to have you
Thank
join
you
us.
so much, Pinola. Thank
We'd
you.
love to, because it's all about what they were saying earlier. It's all about building and connecting, right? You never know how, Tanya, I can help you or you can help me. Tanya, I have a lot of family in the Carolinas, and
I have people in Jersey.
listen, so right away we're connected. You won't
Yeah.
believe how close we are, and so we end up in the same room together. Like, how did you know Tanya? Oh, that's my cousin. Okay, well, great. You know, great. So we may be
Yeah.
related. Who knows?
Never
So
know.
yes, exactly. So I encourage all of you ladies, please figure out what the social media contacts are in the chat. If you want to drop your social media in the chat room, let's follow each other. Let's support each other. Let's stay connected. And then the next time we meet, I'm sure more questions will arise or more opportunities for business, because I hang out with a lot of billionaires. And the reason why I do that, people that are making a lot of money, because I hope to become one someday. And one thing that I've learned about them, they will travel to Miami. And I'm like, how did you know this guy? Well, my friend is having his birthday. I met him on a boat ride and we connected since then. You automatically feel because I am in New Jersey, I should only connect with New Jerseyans or those that are in New York or those that are in the tri-state area. No, if you go to California, make friends. If you go to Ireland, make friends. No matter where you are, make friends and build genuine relationships, because you never know. You never know when an opportunity presents itself. You need to be ready. And just knowing Tanya can be the next level for us all. Okay, to hear that we know a notary, someone that has their own company, a Black-owned business, right? Because someone is looking for that, and you're like, I have the connect, and because you made the connection, you're now the hero, and you're the plug. You're the point of contact, because you seem to know everyone across the globe. So let's continue to build from here. I hope to see you all again soon. Please, again, drop your contacts in the chat. We don't only want to connect with the speakers, we want to connect, with all the other ladies that are on this call. This call is recorded, so the ladies that attended today will get a copy. You will get a link. And I don't know what more to share. If you're interested in becoming a member, please join us at i-belonghere.com. Ariane, do you have a question?
Yeah, you didn't let me introduce myself. Hi.
No, oh, because your screen was off. I said I was looking for the screen.
No, but you did this the last meeting too, but it's okay. I still love you. Hi, everyone.
Yes, Ms. Johnson.
Super quick. I just wanted to be the last one. That's what happened. No, I'm Ariane. I'm in Bergen County. I'm a loan signing agent. I'm also a certified trust delivery agent. So that means I partner with estate planning attorneys to help deliver trust packages and estate planning presentations to clients. So I'm here.
Wow. So estate planning, you said you do notaries for that specifically?
Yes. Right.
Interesting. So you've seen a lot of interesting things happen at the table.
I'm learning
the conversations.
Just how important this thing actually is,
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Sorry, I skipped over you. I thought your screen was off. You probably were still, and I just thought it was off, and that was, you're so pretty. So I thought that was the picture.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. Also, Fatima did put her information in the chat. She, I guess, was having some technical difficulties, but everybody, I'll read it. Hi, I'm Fatima, notary loan signing agent in Passaic County. She's a care coordinator in a private home agency in Hackensack. She can assist anyone who needs a job or needs care for a loved one. So very important, healthcare. Thank you, Fatima.
Thank you, Fatima. Appreciate that. Well, ladies, if there's nothing more to share, and if we haven't, everyone has put their information in the chat. I can share the comments as well with you via email in case anyone missed anyone. So you will have access to the chat room. You'll have access to the video, and you have access to us if ever you need us, okay? You ladies have a wonderful night, and thanks again for joining us. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies. Thank you, ladies.
Bye.